here from The Investor's Way, and welcome to Woody's Weekly Wisdom, episode number 76. And I'm going to do something a little bit different today and look at a few different headlines, really just to highlight the reason why I actually do these videos and why I can understand when talking to people how the noise in the media can be so confusing. And look, before we dive in, if you can do me a huge favour, hit the subscribe button and the little bell to get notified when these are being released if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, hit the like button, leave us a comment or even just a thumbs up so we know that it's something you saw. And if you really want to help out, hit that share button and share it with your friends so that they can get a bit of an understanding of what's going on in the media news when it comes to money and wealth, and have a better understanding of what that means for their financial circumstances. So as I said, doing something a little bit different. And I want to show you right here, this section here of 3 stories. And I'm going to focus initially on these 2 on the outside. I'm not going to dive into them because we have flogged these topics to death over recent weekly wisdom videos. So we will focus on the Black Friday sales because it will be Black Friday when you're watching this. But let's dive into, have a look at anyway. This one first. Inflation update is grim news for a rate cut. Just with the little summary, or not even summary, but the teaser, inflation figures have continued their trend down, but not in the way that will help mortgage holders anytime soon. So this is becoming more and more frustrating for borrowers, with the data doing what the RBA said it needed to do to give the rate cuts. But now that it's doing it, they don't want to give you the rate cut. So inflation update is grim news. Why is it grim news? Well, because the RBA says it's not necessarily the news that they wanted to see in order to pass on a rate cut. Then you come over here and you get crashing sign the RBA has lost the plot. So inflation is collapsing in Australia, but the Reserve Bank just keeps on making the same mistake as the rest of us suffer. So again, like we've been saying on these weekly wisdom videos for many, many months, the interest rates were increased to a level beyond where they probably needed to be. I might get many arguments on that fact, but it's history. It happens all the time where rates are pushed beyond where they need to be, and then we will have to pay the higher rates until the RBA is ready to reduce rates. This RBA is being particularly stubborn because we now know, and as I said, I don't want to dive in too deep to these articles, but we now know that inflation is down at 2.1%. well and truly inside the range of 2 to 3% that they want. And therefore, we should be looking at interest rate cuts, but all the noise is that not so soon. I think, and I've had this conversation with a number of people in the last week, particularly with our ticker episodes, and I think one of the main reasons that we're getting such a prolonged cautionary tale from the RBA is they are literally shit scared of saying anything that might indicate they're going to cut rates soon. That might lead to people changing their behaviour, and the data then reflecting a continuation of the cost of living crisis or whatever it might be. So they're very, very cautious. I think when they do drop rates, it'll probably come as a massive surprise to everybody, and maybe sooner than what they're projecting. But they're very much about keeping everybody on the back foot so that we don't get any false starts when it comes to changing our behaviour when related to our spending. Which then leads nicely into this story, which is Aussies to spend $7.5 billion on Black Friday. And so let's click across to this one. And in this case, they haven't made much change to the headline from the front page to the actual story because the headline's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to go ballistic in spending money during these Black Friday sales. And Yeah, the story itself is not overly exciting. It basically talks about how we're going to spend more this year than we did last year. Then goes into some of the different places where we'll spend that money, and why Black Friday sales are so good for small business and retailers, and helps them finish off the year on a strong note, and all those types of things. But the reason I wanted to talk about this article is that there's a lot of hidden, I guess, behaviours behind this spending. And one of them obviously is the cost of living pressures that people are feeling. So rather than paying full price for something leading up to Christmas, given that we're all going to be spending money on Christmas, people are taking advantage of the discounts, probably more so than in the past, to complete their Christmas shopping. So I think one of the headlines, and here's a prediction for you, one of the headlines we might see towards the end of this year or into early January is potentially how the Christmas period sales were slightly weaker. Now, I suspect also that they will incorporate Black Friday into those numbers to get the uplift. But if we were to isolate Christmas and Black Friday and separate them, I think that, as I said, a prediction that I'm going to make is that our spending during that final week of, or the 10 days leading up to Christmas, whichever is the one that they measure more normally, will be slightly less than what we've spent in the past 12 months, because people probably are going to spend the majority of their money trying to get a sale. So we're trying to get our dollar to go further, and that, I think, is going to drive the excitement around Black Friday. Not necessarily because the deals are so good. Give you a personal example. I was looking for some new cycling nicks on a favourite website of mine in terms of the quality of the nicks, and when you went to look at their Black Friday sales, which they said they'd launched early, so it was like all this positive thing, get your massive discounts by coming to our Black Friday sale early, only to discover that the only sizes available were extra small or triple XL. So given that there's not a lot of cyclists that fit into those two categories, it was a false sale. So one of the cautions I give you with these Black Friday sales is to make sure you are actually getting a sale, none of this false sale type stuff. And just be mindful that a lot of people, particularly the RBA, are watching what we do over the next month to shape what's going to happen with interest rates going into 2025, because they very much are looking for signs that people are likely to be spending lots of money or more money than normal, to indicate that there isn't that pressure being caused by these high interest rates, so therefore no need to rush to bring them down. So any behaviour that indicates that we're all good is going to be very problematic when it comes to reducing rates. But as you can see here, 7.5 billion nationally, up from 6.3 billion on the previous year. Spending an average of $722 each, which is amazing. And basically, this is saying 62% of those surveyed stating they were hoping to grab a bargain. That's why they're participating in this one. So let's just hope they are bargains, and not, like I said, some false sales where they can suggest that they're getting lots of dollars off or lots of percentage points off, but unfortunately anything that you might want is actually not available. So then, like I said, this article then goes on to talk about all the different categories and the types of things that people want to buy. Not overly exciting in that respect. The main message from this one for me was that this sentence here: shoppers are being savvier than ever with their dollars. And so they're flocking to the sales, whether it's Black Friday or Cyber Monday, to get their gifts early so that they aren't paying full price for something in a couple of weeks' time. Although I suspect, pardon me, I suspect that we're going to be seeing sales all the way up to Christmas to entice people into the stores. But don't ever let that persuade you from taking advantage of getting a discount. There is every chance that you won't get better deals than what's going to happen over the next few days, in the next month. But I do believe we're seeing more and more of the major retail stores constantly offering some form of discount to get you in the store, because they know shoppers are being savvier than ever with their dollars. And so the cost of living crisis is still happening. It is still relevant. And people are spending more at this period of time purely because they're trying to get more for the amount of money that they have available. And so, here we go. There we go. So the full peak season period is predicted to see a modest 2.7% increase in spending. Again, highlighting the popularity, that they're suggesting it's popular because it's a frenzy. I think it's popular because it's just before our major Christmas spending period, and people are just, as this highlighted section says, they're just being savvier. And so I still stand by my prediction that there's every chance that people will spend a little less after these sales are finished, leading up to Christmas. So what does all of that mean? Well, if we go back to the headlines and we're looking here, I think the initial indications are we shouldn't hold our breath for a rate cut in February. At the same time, I think the Christmas spending and the Cyber Monday, Black Friday spending numbers will be very important when it comes to what the RBA does. Any signs that we've just gone heavy on the spending side will be an indication to them that we haven't completely killed off the inflation beast, and therefore a delay in cuts to interest rates. So that's the summary as such. But then what does it all mean for your spending, your money management, your wealth creation? Well, I think, as anyone would know, I'm not about being the Grinch and having a spending restriction on you. So just be mindful of what you've got available. Spend within your means. You can still be generous and enjoy the spirit of the season with spending with what you have available. But do yourself a favour and avoid that January credit card statement shock, and spend within your means as best you possibly can. And don't let these sales and the Christmas period derail your investing activity. We've got markets at all-time highs in the stock market. That's not a reason not to be investing. It is a reason to continue to be proactive. And all financial markets are available for us to continue to be proactive. There's some great things happening in the markets, and so if you haven't been in them, then you are absolutely missing out. And we want to be consistent so that we're in the market when these great things are happening. So if you've been living under a rock and you're not aware, the US stock market up over 30% in the last 12 months, the Australian stock market up over 20% in the last 12 months. So we really want to be taking advantage of that. And as much as I don't teach crypto, that market has also taken off since the US election. So lots of exciting things happening. So the key message here is spend within your means, enjoy the season, obviously, and don't give the RBA any more reason to delay interest rate cuts because we've got caught up in the silly season, and let our spending get out of control, and therefore basically given the RBA reason to hold off. So that's my thoughts on what's in the news today, and that is Woody's Weekly Wisdom, episode number 76. As I said earlier, do us a favour, share these around, give us a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Just helps us grow the channel. More people get to see these things, and hopefully that means better understanding of what the noise in the market means and how that can be impacting your decision making when it comes to growing your wealth. So have a great week. We'll see you again next week as we slide into December. and the end of this year rapidly approaches. Have a great week. Cheers.